Hello dear chess friends and welcome to our new video. In that video I'll present game young Siegbert Tarrasch, famous Nuremberg doctor, played against Joseph Noah. Game was played in Hamburg in 1885. Game was played in French defense, and after e4 initial moves, e6 of course, d4, d3, young Tarrasch preferred knight c3 instead of knight d2 he will usually play later in his career. After knight f6, Tarrasch went for Steinitz advance, e5, knight fd7, knight c e2, and black powerfully strikes onto white pawn chain with c5. White supports the center with c3, that is idea of previous move, knight c e2, knight c6 and f4. Sharp gaining space, but white wants to support his powerful pawn chain. cd, cd, bishop b4, and we see that black wants to switch to the endgame, which may occur after bishop d2 and exchanging dark square bishops and the queens also. Game was continued with bishop d2, queen b6, and of course knight f3. Let black play first. Let black take first the bishop. After castling, now white cannot successfully finish development. He can play g3, but he decided rather to provoke black move queen d4, queen takes b4, and after queen d2 to offer queen exchange. And in that position black played knight b6. We can see that there can arise endgame definitely in white favor due to famous problem of black, that is inactive bishop on c8. Well, after that it would be a bit premature. Black will have some initiative with move knight c4. And that's why white delayed capturing. He should maybe do something like this, forcing black maybe to capture, where he will retain initiative after that. Now knight is not on b4, another knight may come to c4, but after b3 it will soon go back, and white keeps a serious positional advantage due to better bishop and gain space, and also more active king. Let's switch back to the game. After knight b6, knight c3 was played and rook d8. Very strange move. Probably black wanted to play knight c4, where after bishop takes c4, black wanted to play d takes to have open d file for his actions, but knight c4 immediately gives nothing in view of this. Of course, everything is well protected, just simple castling with some advantage for white. Rook d8, but now excellent move, knight b5. It is not only idea to install knight on d6, but also offering queen exchange in that moment is very important. Now if knight c4, let me show you first this. After knight c4, bishop takes, knight d6, and rook d8 is absolutely useless in that position. White retains positional advantage. In our game, bishop d7 was played with idea to target that knight and finish development, but now knight d6, passive defending the pawn, rook b8, and rook c1. White wanted to wait for black capturing first, and finally black took. He couldn't find anything better, and now he decided to get rid of annoying knight with knight c8. I think here a6 would be more logical, to prepare exchanging annoying knight now after knight c8, because after played move knight c8, white simply keeps knight, and that is very instructive. Now there is idea of using that knight this way. Well, the famous quote, the so important and wise in playing such position is he who has space advantage should keep pieces on the board, and that's why white played knight c3. Knight a7, bishop d3, controlling f5, rook comes to c8 and b3. Simple idea is to eliminate some tricks related to knight jump, so now knight a4 would be bad because black has something like this. Now after b3, that knight on a4 will be protected and black won't be able to sack the knight. Now, knight b4. Maybe idea is to prevent knight a4, but of course that knight can be kicked back and there is nothing he can achieve. Tarrasch instructively played a3. He could say thanks to his opponent in that moment because really two tempi is very important in that position. Even if position is blocked, still two tempi are just two tempi. Now of course taking there will leave black with desperately bad bishop. That would be good for white. However, still that is far from winning because black can activate that bishop this way, or maybe via bishop b5 in some moment. Who knows? And still it remains difficult to convert, but evidently white will have strong and lasting advantage. After a3 anyway, black played knight c6, and of course knight a4 would be good, but for some reason there is trick of knight a5 where that knight hangs. So now knight c5 can be met with rook c5 and black will have excellent position. So naturally looking, knight a4 is not the best. Tarrasch played b4. Idea is to play maybe b5 to crash black situation, black position on the queen side. h6. That is ridiculous. White does not want to play knight g5 at all. I would rather vote for f6 and in some moment to transfer bishop there to some active position. After h6, white continues h4, preparing advance on the king side. Knight b8, king e3. We can see that knight can be directed via d2 and b3 to c5. After rook c7, white anyway played rook c2, first doubling before any action, and now before transferring knight on the d2 and b3, he improves position on the king side. Who knows, maybe f5 or h5, g5 will be on the agenda very soon. Bishop e8, and finally white played knight d2. Idea is evidently to transfer knight to b3 and c5 with huge pressure on the queen side. Knight d7, black wants to fight for that square, but after that he deviates and he wants to install knight himself on c4. Knight c5, knight c4, and key moment in the game, white takes. It may look as bad because black may get control of square d5, but after that we can see that white get access to e4 and d6. But the question for you, dear chess friends, which knight should be installed via e4 on d6? Knight c3 or knight c5? Well, definitely knight c5. Knight on c3 is super knight, let's say. It blocks the pawn, making black artillery useless on that file, and also controls very important square d5. So in any moment after that, white can install another knight on c3 with advancing with winning position on the king side, or knight can go to d6 with huge pressure and still advancing with, I think, winning position. In that position, black played b5, okay, supporting the passer, knight d6, rook b8, and it's time for action f5. Bishop d7, rook f2, white prepares f6, probably, maybe in some moment also f takes c with pressure on f file, and we can see that a much better knight finally will end the game in white favor. Knight d5, okay, black wants to eliminate blockading piece, that is generally good option, but still c pawn easily can be stopped. Black cannot achieve anything from that passer, and more important fact is the white pawn phalanx now will have great dynamic energy. So after capturing g5, black wants desperately to block the position to avoid getting mated. Yeah, rook cf1, preparing some advance, king g8, and we see g6 is well prepared. f6 of course not, because after that black will block with bishop e6 and there would be problem for white to convert. g6 is correct, and after that rook e2. Definitely white will soon capture on f6. If black captures, okay, there is nothing, king comes to d4. After c3 there is not a check on rook c4, knight controls that square, and white pawn phalanx will end the game. Rook e2 was played, bishop c6, and of course, before any action, white wants to double. King f4, f takes, and now tricky move, very well prepared by Tarrasch. Rook takes e5. Idea is to deliver mate after black takes. Of course, now after that white will inevitably penetrate via e-file. There will be king g5 with f6 and also knight f7, very important dressers. King f8, what else? And knight f7, of course. After that, knight dances. As you can see, there is deadly threat of knight h7, and after rook c7, exactly that happened. Black resigned. So you can see in that position, hopelessly poor bishop against ultimately active knight, and it was very easy to predict a result, especially after black allowed exchanging that bishop. That is first important moment in the game. Black simply felt a lack of any counterplay. He later suffered with not space, and I will pay attention on that endgame. For a long time he didn't play f6 with bishop e6 and bishop g6, bishop e8 and bishop g6, which may give him some active play. And of course I want to pay attention on very bad move. I'm talking about knight b4, giving white 2 tempi for nothing, where white was able to expand both on queen side and on king side with devastating effect. After knight c4 we achieved key position. It was very important to predict that beautiful maneuver, so exactly that knight from c5 comes to e4 and wins easily. I hope, dear chess friends, you could learn few interesting things, to learn something from that game. I hope you enjoyed a lot, and I hope you will enjoy our next videos. See you soon with new material. Bye bye.